Welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free from narcissistic abuse with quantum tools and understandings. I understand the terror of our feelings. They can feel too big. We may believe the intensity of painful feelings will take us out. We may have the fear that if we get mired in them, that we may not be able to function. Maybe you believe that healing is going to take forever and that you have to go slowly because you're feeling too much intensity. And then there are all the unconscious ways that we don't want to feel our feelings. Ways such as sneaky, pesky, egoic excuses that distract us from the inner work. Or we may stay busy or zone out with food, alcohol, TV and social media. The ways that we can self-avoid emotions and self-medicate and self-abandon our inner being are endless. Today, I want to get right down to the essential truths that no one really has been telling us, apart from people who now understand the truth about trauma recovery. And this truth is that it is impossible to recover from trauma unless we feel our feelings. I want to take you through this step by step, why we must feel our feelings, as well as how to do it safely, lovingly, and powerfully, regardless how much you've suffered and have been through. Okay, so before we get started, thank you everyone who's subscribed to my channel and for supporting the Thriver mission. And if you haven't yet subscribed, I want to remind you to please do. And if you like this video, please make sure that you hit the like button. Now to begin. Feeling our feelings was vital even before abuse. I certainly didn't know how important it was to be able to feel my feelings before my Thriver recovery. In fact, I wasn't even in my body, partnered with myself in any way. How was I to know that this wasn't healthy when it had been my normal? I know it's been the same for so many of you, living disassociated, not being housed emotionally in your body, looking outwards to life whilst being stuck in survival programs rather than generating self-creation. When we're attempting to live life from the outside in, trying to work out what everybody else is or isn't being so that we can somehow respond to them to survive, we're a reactor and a victim of life. Yet what we should really be is a responder and a creator of life. Being a reactor to life equals how to lose every time. Reacting to life means I'll try to adapt me to become what is necessary to make you grant me what I need to feel safe, successful and loved. Responding to life means I'll align with my values and my truths and my boundaries regarding what my desired life is, and you're either going to lean in and join me in this experience or leave and clear the way for someone who does share my values and truths and can meet me there. It's vital to understand that living life powerfully and successfully from the inside out is not a logical thing. You can't generate this by trying to logically make it happen. And the reason why you can't is because your logical brain only generates 5% of your life experience. What is really unfolding as your life is from your emotional composition, beliefs, and subconscious programs, which in short is how you feel about any topic in your life and the truths that you've embodied about them. If you haven't yet come home to your inner being to resolve, partner with, and heal your emotional self in regard to the painful topics in your life, including, of course, narcissistic abuse, then your emotional feelings, beliefs, and subconscious programs will be unhealed. They'll remain traumatized. And this almighty remaining 95% of your life that rules your thoughts is why the stinking thinking and the obsessive thoughts can beat you up. They just don't stop, no matter how hard you try to stop them. What's the resolution? The resolution is to be in your body, embodied in responding and creating your life effectively, to feel and heal your emotions. There's no other way. So let's have a look at what our feelings are not. Because of our human obsession to avoid our painful feelings at all costs, we innately believe we should do everything possible to turn away from them and avoid them. Yet negative emotions, beliefs, and unconscious programs are like housework. If unattended, they simply pile up and get worse. And this is why, as people age, the trauma, sickness, and breakdowns increase. And generally for all of us as members of a narcissistic abuse community, the abusers and the incidents get worse and worse and worse. So the real question is this: how bad does it need to get before we do meet our inner beings and start doing the necessary housework on them? One of the common reasons why we can seem so committed to self-abandoning is the belief that our inner painful emotions are going to reveal something terrible and horrible about us, things that we simply may not be able to face. And it's an illusion, it's not the truth. It's part of the lie that's been fed to us. Because our negative emotions are not who we really are. They're not our true coded divine inner self. They're false ideas and lies that were inflicted upon us by other people who had these inflicted on them. Yes, the dense energy of them hurts. But just as we don't associate a cut on our leg as I'm unlovable and unworthy of love and not worth loving because it's as yet unhealed and feels intensely painful, we shouldn't do the same with our intensely painful feelings. The truth, which is organically coded into every one of us, and it's coded into you, is that you are divine, adored, and loved beyond measure by all of creation because you are creation itself. And that's the truth that you are in this incredible time returning to if you're prepared to wake up, challenge the lies, and do the inner work to live free of them. So there's only one way out of the lies. And that is, you need to turn within, face and release the negative emotions and the false beliefs connected to them and go free from them. And you need to know, believe, and live within your soul right to fully be yourself. So what your feelings really are, your feelings are no less or more than a signal showing you whether you're integrated on any particular topic in your life, or if you have beliefs and traumas blocking you from your true self and life. This is how the ecology of life works regarding your feelings. What you want with all of your heart, which is love, success, happiness, and health, is what your superconscious God source creation self, which is all of the higher part of you, wants for you too. This force is benevolent, it's all loving. And whether or not you achieve alignment with this force depends on what is going on in your manufacturing powerhouse, your subconscious. When you're aligned on any topic, you feel great and the real life results unfold beautifully. You experience wholeness. Triggered traumas, delays, disappointments, and even catastrophes are showing you how your inner subconscious beliefs and not what your heart desires, and they're not what your superconscious creator wants to bring to you. So what is your real job? To attend to the subconscious programs. How do you do that? By being at one with your emotions, by accepting and blessing all of them as the God signal, letting you know where you're at with everything and everyone. If you get caught up in the story, the analysis, the research, and the regurgitation of your wounds, which means staying mired in them, you're missing the point. You are not supposed to be a student of your negative emotions any more than you are supposed to study life continually, rather than just set yourself free to start living it. What you are supposed to do is find and then let go of what is not serving you. This is the trauma, the emotional fractures, lies, false beliefs, and wounds that are not who you really are. But we can't do that unless we're determined to meet them and be with them. If you take the talk therapy track, it means hanging on to your victimization. And it means that when we identify with these traumas and negative emotions, we simply get stuck and snagged up in them. If we join groups as survivors or victims, then our only hope is to try to manage the symptoms of the remaining trauma inside of us. Every time you decide that your negative emotion is you or a part of you in your life, you're hanging on to it. However, you can come home to the soul truth, because the negative emotions are only internalized false energies and beliefs inflicted on you that are not you. When you go quantum, you know that there is no reason to regurgitate or be in the story. You know that there are methods that work directly with the subconscious in ways that the subconscious responds to. You know that you can feel, hold, load up and release dense trauma energy, unlike cognitive talk therapy research and information gathering, which is only using your logical brain, which doesn't connect or communicate to your limbic and nervous systems where the trauma is trapped. Once you start working with your negative emotions the quantum way, you know that no matter what the trauma is, no matter how big it is and who it came from, you know that those details are actually totally irrelevant. Yes, the trauma you experienced was awful and terrible, and the effects have been grave, disastrous, and far-reaching in your life. But what is relevant now is getting whatever that trauma is up and out of your being. When this happens, you can simply return to your coded true self, which is joy, love, success, and health and happiness. When you start living this way, I promise you will realize that simply being with trauma, feeling it, loading it up with it without getting taken out into the head story, and then fully releasing it and living free from it profoundly works. These shifts are somatically felt, and it's so much more than trying to think differently. It's a profound process of letting the pain and fear go and being filled with your superconscious light and truth that reactivates you without trauma. So the result is this. You don't just start trying to force yourself to heal and change. You just are healed and changed on that topic. You emerge knowing and being the wholeness that you were once struggling to grasp, let alone retain. But as mentioned before, this doesn't happen until you're willing to feel what you need to feel, release, and replace. So when we start living like this, we start to understand how natural it is to be in our bodies, navigating life from who am I really in regard to this, rather than trying to work out how to be via everything and everyone else. It's such a relief to manage and heal your own painful emotions when triggered, rather than handing away power to false sources, which of course is narcissists, to try to force them to help you. It's so beautiful to be anchored into your values and your truths, and not to be so precariously susceptible to people's actions, decisions, and opinions of you. When you're self-partnered and have fully accepted all of your emotions as divine and meant to be, in other words, knowing that that emotion is showing me what I'm in alignment with and what I need to heal within me, one or the other, then you'll become incredibly self-accepting, self-loving, and self-generative. You start to become and experience the glory of what it is to be an actualized human being living life to your fullest potential, consciously aligning and integrating your subconscious with the conscious heart desires and superconscious creator self. That's what being a whole integrated being means. And it's what going quantum is all about. Going inwards and feeling. It's not just the new neuro and quantum model of true healing, it's also the model of our true life. So if you deeply get this, let me know by writing below, I am going to go quantum now. Self-partnering is the first essential step to do this, and it is exactly what my Thriver processes teach. They teach you how to come home powerfully, safely, and lovingly to yourself. So I want to ask you to join me in my free webinar where we can activate this process together. And you can do this by clicking the link at the top right of the video. I'd love you to join me. It'll change everything. And if you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe so that you'll be notified as soon as each new one is released. And if you like this, click like. Also, please share with your communities so that we can help people awaken to these truths. The truth sets us free. And as always, I'm greatly looking forward to answering your comments and your questions below. So keep smiling, keep healing, and keep thriving because there's nothing else to do. Lots of love. Bye-bye.